In Creo Parametric, you can use a motion skeleton to combine mechanisms with top-down design. Let's take a look at how to do that. And there are two different techniques for designing mechanisms with top-down design. I showed another technique in a video where I have multiple skeletons connected with connections between them. That's the preferred method, but here's the motion skeleton method that was introduced in Pro Engineer Wildfire 3.0. I'm going to start off by creating a brand new assembly, and I'll call it my Latch deployment mechanism. And let's click the OK button, select a default template to use. I'll click the OK button. I'm just going to make sure I'm using my correct set of units. I'm going to go to my properties icon over here. Let me change this over here to use inch pound seconds. Let's set that. Click the OK button and close out of here. All right, so now let me turn on my datum plane display. I've got my default datums over here. Now we're going to create our motion skeleton. And a motion skeleton is actually an assembly. Let's click the Create button over here. And here we have skeleton model selected. The subtype here is standard. For motion, you will use the other radio button. And it's going to rename the motion skeleton. I'm going to rename it to be more like the name of my assembly. That's good. Let's click the OK button out of here. And this is going to be an assembly model. That's why the template over here is for an assembly. I'm fine with this one. Let's click the OK button. Actually it doesn't like that. Let me click this one over here. And then I have my motion skeleton in here. Let me open it up in its own separate window. You can do all your work here in the separate window if you want. So I will start off that way. And once again, I'm going to make sure that I am designing in inches. Looks like all my default templates are set for millimeters. Let's close out of here. And the first thing that you're going to put inside of your motion skeleton is a sketch. And this is one of the reasons that I don't like motion skeletons. Because you're using a sketch, the motion that you are designing is limited to planar motion, everything within 2D. So let's select a plane to sketch on, and I'll hit the sketch button. Let me now switch to a sketch view over here. I can turn off my plane display. And first I'm going to start off by sketching what's going to represent the ground of my model. Let's sketch in a couple lines over here. And I'm going to sketch in, let's see, something that's going to hold a gear, and then something that's going to hold a rack and pinion. So there we have a bunch of different entities. Right now the dimensions are really big. Let me swipe a box over all the dimensions. Then I can use the modify dimensions command. And let's make this wider so I can see the different dimensions. Okay, this one I actually want to be a value of 6. Let's lock the scale and change this one to 6 so everything else changes proportionately. Let's refit on the screen. Drag some of the dimensions closer to the entities that they are controlling. Then I can start modifying these dimensions. Alright, so zooming in over here. Some of them are still pretty far away. There we go. Okay, so let's see. I have this one for 6. This one over here. Actually, I want it to be much longer. Let's make this one a value of 8. And let's see for this dimension over here, which is controlling that distance. I want this to be a value of 0.375. Let's see, let's make this total value of 0.5. And this dimension over here, this is also going to be 0.5. Again, all these entities over here are going to represent the ground of my component. And then this one over here, this value, let's make it 2.5. Okay, so those are the entities for the ground. Let me now make my entities that are going to be part of the moving stuff. And so I'm going to have a gear located here. So I'll sketch it out and just let it snap into here. That's good. And I'm also going to have, this is going to be part of a rack and pinion. So this is going to have a pin connection. Then I'm going to have something on a slider connection. One thing to be aware of with your different entities in here is that sometimes you're going to need overlapping entities depending on the type of motion that you are trying to get. So I'm going to sketch in another line, and I'm going to let it snap so that's in line with here. And I'm just going to make it about yay long over here. That's good. Let's make this a value of 10. Let's make this initially a value of 2.2 is good. And now I'm going to have one more entity over here. So let's sketch in a line that's going to go from here, and it's going to be snapping into that, and then about over here. And let's dimension the length of this line over here. Let's make it a value of 1.5. So there are all my different entities. So this is one of the other things that I find confusing about motion skeletons. You really have to plan out the entities that you're going to have in your sketch, and then even afterwards it's hard to tell, hey, what are these different entities representing? I always think of it sort of like the constellations that you see in the sky. People will look at 3 stars and they'll say, oh, okay, that represents a hunter holding a bow and arrow attacking a sea monster. And it's like, how did you get that? I get the same thing sometimes from these motion skeletons. Let's hit the check mark. And so now we have our sketch created over here. I'm going to show you how you can continue the work in the main assembly. So I have it over here. Let's go to a front view. And now I'm going to activate my motion skeleton. Then we're going to create components inside of here representing the different parts of the assembly. So let's click on the Create button. And here we have skeleton model. We're going to use the subtype body. And the first thing that's going to be in here is going to be the ground. So let me call this Latch ground. I'll click the OK button, and I'll just use my standard start part over here, click OK. And now I'm going to select the entities from the sketch that represent the ground. So let's select these 2 lines, that's good. And let me hold down the Control key, and there's grabbing those other entities. So I got them correct with just 2 mouse clicks. So those are going to be the static or non-moving entities. And I'll click the OK button. And so there we have our first motion body part in here. All right, so that's good for that one. Now let's create our gear component. Let's hit the Create button, and I'll call this Latch Gear. Let's change the body. Probably have to rename it. That's a weird thing. Choose body first, the radio button for body first, then rename it Latch Gear. Click the OK button. And again, I'll use my standard start part over here. And now for the body definition dialog box, it's a little different because now we're defining the moving entities. And so for the gear, I'm going to use this part over here. I'll select the circle. Then we click the Update button, and it says, okay, here are all the different possible connections that I can have inside of here. And it came up with 4 different ones. And so one, it has a pin connection where it is rotating about this entity over here. That's one I actually want. Let's see the other ones. Here it has a pin connection where it's actually rotating about the endpoint of this line. I don't want that one, so we can remove it. Then we have this one over here where it's giving us a pin connection about that point. Let's remove that one. And then here it is, another kind of pin connection located about this entity over here. I don't want that one. Let's remove that. And so here we have our pin connection about there. That is good. Let's click the OK button out of that dialog box and expand the skeleton assembly. What also happened in here is that we got a group created, and the group automatically the group contains axes that are created automatically depending on your type of connection. It created 2 axes for the pin connection that were necessary. All right, so that's good for this one over here. The next one that we're going to do is the rack part of the rack and pinion. Let's click on the Create button again, change to Body, and I'll call this the Latch Rack, and click the OK button. And again, use a start part. And here we have our body definition dialog box. The entities that are going to be involved with this is going to be that longer line that is on top of another line over here. And by having two lines on top of each other, one of the connections that we're going to get is a slider connection. And this is the one that I actually want. Oops, did I get too many entities in here? I did. Let me remove this and then just make sure that I'm just getting this one line over there. All right, so now I got the right thing. Let's hit the update button. I have fewer connections this time, but again, I know that I want the slider connection, so I'm going to remove the two bearing connections that were suggested to me. So now this will translate. And one thing that you'll learn by using these different motion skeletons is depending on the entities that you sketch or how you sketch them, that's going to determine what kinds of connections that you can do. You also have this option here to invoke the component placement dialog box, which will bring up your component placement dialog box, the dashboard for that, if you wanted to make any other adjustments in here, like if you wanted to put in any motion settings. But I'm happy with that, so I'll click the OK button. And now there's one last entity that we're going to have in here. Let's again do the create, and this is going to be for the, let's change to body over here, and this is the actual latching part itself. Let me call it the latching scale. And then I'll click the OK button and use the start part over here. For the entities, it's just going to be this one line over here. So I tap the right mouse button so I just get the one entity that I want. And let me make this a little wider, hit the update button. There are two different suggestions here, and this one over here is suggesting a bearing connection. What I want here is that I want this line to be able to translate along that point and also rotate, translate and rotate. But because it's not translation and rotation along the same direction, it's not a cylinder connection. The one that'll get me that is a bearing connection. I'll actually have extra degrees of freedom, but that's okay. They'll be taken care of by the pin connection over on this end over here. So that's good. Let's click the OK button over here. And so now we have our motion skeleton completed, and I'm going to test the motion of this now. First, let's hide the original sketch, and then let's go to drag, and I'll first test this part over here. And so this is the motion I want. As I drag this line over here, it's causing the other line over at the end to pivot about there. Let's see about this. If I move this one. Okay, so I was hoping that I would also get an automatic gear connection here, which you sometimes get, but I can put that in manually later on. All right, so that is good. We have our motion skeleton created. In the next video, I'll cover creating some basic geometry in these various different parts and then seeing the motion with that. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, please visit www.creowindshield.com. If you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be informed when new videos are uploaded. Thank you very much.